Wow, wow, wow. So the Ring magazine have snubbed Canelo Alvarez and Teofimo Lopez from their current pound-for-pound list. Okay, there's going to be people out there that agree with Canelo Alvarez not being on the pound-for-pound list due to him losing to Terence Crawford. But also, let's not forget who Canelo Alvarez lost to. Terence Crawford, the guy that they had as pound-for-pound number 1 and 2, you know what I'm saying, in their pound-for-pound rankings for years. I remember when Vasily Lomachenko lost to Teofimo Lopez, which at the time, Teofimo Lopez was not on the pound-for-pound list after the Richard Coleman. And when Vasily Lomachenko lost to Teofimo Lopez, they kept Vasily Lomachenko on the pound-for-pound list. Remember, that was Vasily Lomachenko's second loss, right? But they still kept him on the pound-for-pound list. When Canelo Alvarez beat Triple G, they kept Triple G on the pound-for-pound list. Now, I know y'all could say, but they kept Canelo Alvarez on the pound-for-pound list when he lost to Dimitri Bivol. Yeah, at the end of the day, he stepped up and dared to be great and stuff like that. I understand. It wasn't a demoralizing loss, so they kept him. But Terence Crawford, it wasn't like, the betting odds was all like a huge gap. It was close to a 50-50 fight leading up to the fight, right? The narrative is that Terence Crawford was bigger than Canelo Alvarez and the same size that Canelo Alvarez is a small 168 pounder and all of that, right? That he got more skills than Canelo Alvarez. So when he loses to Terence Crawford, why does he get out of the pound-for-pound list? Look at all the things that Canelo Alvarez has done throughout the years. That's the reason why they kept Triple G, the reason why they kept Vasily Lomachenko, and the reason why they kept Canelo Alvarez when he lost to Dimitri Bivol. The issue is who they got in the pound-for-pound list for taking him out, right? So put it this way. I love David Benavidez. I'm a huge fan of David Benavidez. But if you check out the pound-for-pound list, what are the accomplishments of David Benavidez? As much as he's truly trying to get some great names under his belt, he did beat Caleb Plant, he did beat Demetrius Andre, he did beat Alexander and David Morrell and currently Anthony Yard. But what are his accomplishments? Look at the people on the pound-for-pound list. What does it take for you to be on the pound-for-pound list? Historically, you gotta, perform. Not only the performance, because I think that David Benavidez is only there for the performance of the resume, but what are your accomplishments? It seems like Ring Magazine is downing accomplishment when it comes to their pound-for-pound. Now, let's look at Devin Haney. Look at Devin Haney. Devin Haney on the pound-for-pound list became a 3-division world champion, beating Brian Norman Jr. But if you look at Brian Norman Jr.'s resume, I told you he's the most manufactured fighter in the sport of boxing, right? Especially of all the belt holders. I've been saying it for a year and a half, right? But can't take away of his accomplishment. But also, Devin Haney lost to a Ryan Garcia. And people cannot say that, well, you know what I'm saying, it became a no contest. Because at the end of the day, if it became a no contest, why did the same Ring Magazine took him out the pound-for-pound list after the Ryan Garcia? If it was a no contest, they'll be like, you know what, let's keep Devin Haney in the top 5 or top 6 the way that they had him prior to the Ryan Garcia fight, right? Where he beat Regis Prograis. So because in the Ring Magazine, they counted that as a loss, regardless of what BoxRec said, regardless of what the New York State Athletic Commission say, they counted it as a loss, and that's why they took Devin Haney out the pound-for-pound list due to the performance of the Ryan Garcia. So, let's look. So they took him out because, let's be real, let's be honest. As much as Ryan Garcia is an exceptional talent, Ryan Garcia hasn't accomplished nothing either in the sport of boxing. So it's not like Devin Haney lost to an elite fighter. Devin Haney didn't lose to a former world champion, nothing like that. He lost to a contender. Yo, let me tell you like this. Whether people like it or not, right? I know that people are going to be like, hell no. But again, Ryan Garcia, I'm a fan of Ryan Garcia, but we all know he haven't accomplished anything. We've been pressuring Ryan Garcia to go for the title, to win a belt, or stuff like that. But Devin Haney losing to Ryan Garcia is almost as equivalent as when Teo lost to George Kambosos. Think about it. George Kambosos lost to a former world champion of Mickey Bay. He lost to Lee Selby. I mean, he beat Mickey Bay. He beat Lee Selby. Who did Ryan Garcia beat? Luke Campbell, Javier Fortuna. Leading up to the Devin Haney fight, who he beat. So in the end of the day, let's just be realistic. He didn't lose to a world champion. He didn't lose to a former world champion. He didn't lose to another pound for pound fighter. He didn't lose to the best guy in that division in 140. He lost to Ryan Garcia. Don't let the name and the star-studded name neglect the fact that Ryan Garcia didn't have a amateur stake, and he already lost to a Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Okay, so and here comes Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez, the two-time lineal champion, has won 6 straight after his hiccup versus George Kambosos, right? And he's not on the pound-for-pound list. Yeah, put it this way. He's a 2-time lineal champion, ring lineal champion, 2-time and current at the same time, with a great performance versus Arnold Barboza. That leading up to the Times Square card, everybody was saying that was the toughest opponent in the whole card. How are they snubbing Teofimo Lopez? What do you have to do to be a pound for pound? If you don't call it, remember, he's a 2-time lineal champion, 2-division lineal champion, pound for pound, right? For how long is the ring, or for how long is the rankings going to, to cancel Teofimo Lopez from their pound for pound list because of the George Kambosos? Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, the George Kambosos loss was in 2021. We're heading to 2026. Get over it, ring. Get over it. It's embarrassing that you got a caliber fighter outside of the pound for pound list. What does a man like that got to do? What? Because Teofimo Lopez did the impossible. When he beat Vasily Lomachenko, a lot of y'all that love Vasily Lomachenko, and shout out to Vasily Lomachenko, but we all know that these the panel of the Ring Magazine and ESPN, they in love with Vasily Lomachenko, right? I think that Teofimo Lopez hurting Vasily Lomachenko, beating Vasily Lomachenko was like a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying? Because Teofimo Lopez spoiled the boxing world so early that he needs to live up to that performance time and time again. While everybody can have lackluster performance and losses, why is he out the pound for pound list? You're sending a bad message to young fighters coming up that they're not going to be respected if they go out there and go for the gusto, right? We always want these fighters to dare to be great. Teofimo Lopez is going to be facing Shakur Stevenson now. So Shakur Stevenson was on the pound for pound list, but check out his resume compared to Teofimo Lopez, even with the L of George Kambosos. And you know what? In the end of the day, for me as a boxing fan and the guy that valued Teofimo Lopez, I mean, this makes him hungrier. This makes him madder. This makes him have a chip on his shoulder, in which he's probably going to take that chip on the shoulder to the fight with Shakur Stevenson, and we're going to see the best Teofimo Lopez like we always see when he up against another pound for pound elite world class fighter, right? But why are we snubbing Canelo and Teo? That if you look at the past 5 years, who has the best victories? Who has the best victories? You got Dimitri Bivol, he got the best victory, right? When it comes to Canelo Alvarez, Suldo Ramirez is going to be facing David Benavidez and Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev is still on the list. Right? But because he lost to another pound-for-pound fighter in Dimitri Bivol, right? He didn't need him. Hey, yo, look at the pound-for-pound list. He didn't even go down losing to Dimitri Bivol because it was a close fight, blah, blah, blah. But look at his resume. So you got good performance recently. You still got the accomplishment. He's still a reigning ring. Tell me in the history of the sport of boxing, do you got a 2-time lineal champion out the pound for pound list? Tell me in the history of the pound for pound list. And this is why I stick up for Teofimo Lopez all the time, because I don't understand a lot of boxing content creators. They don't. I don't know why y'all don't show him respect and stuff like that. Yeah, he be saying shit that probably could tamper with the people's ego and feelings. But understand why he's always on the edge, because he's always getting snubbed. He's always getting snubbed. Oh, Teofimo Lopez is crazy. No, the boxing world treat him crazy. The boxing world treat him crazy. Ever since, even with the Vasily Lomachenko. Oh, and then they wanted to pay him $1 million. $1 million after beating Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko at the time had a $3 million guarantee, even if you fight the guy from the halal truck. Huh? He's the only fighter in the history of the amateur circuit, 100+ year sport of boxing, that wins the USA Olympic trial and did not represent USA. The only fighter in the history. This man came into the professional level with the chip on his shoulder. They always snubbed this guy like if he slept with a bunch of journalists and writers' wives. I'm always gonna support Teofimo Lopez to the fullest. I don't give a damn, because a lot of y'all ain't doing y'all due diligence and call this thing out. The Ring Magazine pound for pound list not having Teofimo Lopez and Canelo Alvarez is an embarrassment. Don't hype up another fighter like Terence Crawford being one of the greatest and compare him to Floyd Mayweather, compare to Sugar Ray Leonard, and then Canelo Alvarez lose to him, and then he's out the pound for pound list. From being a top 5, top 6, top 7, and then out. Two guys that is not even is not even the level of what Canelo Alvarez have done. And I'm not mad. There could be honorable mention, but to be honest, David Benavidez at this point still, he's done a lot, but he still needs to accomplish. Now, let's say if he goes and beats Sulto Ramirez in the cruiserweight division, right? Then he did something. He didn't beat Pavon Beterbiev in 175-pound division. He didn't become. He's been a world champion, but he lost the belt twice. Teofimo Lopez have historic accomplishment, and the pound for pound list gotta value that. Let me know what y'all think. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. I'm tuning into Punch Drunk Boxing. Love y'all. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Love y'all. God bless. And on to the next.